Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is another episode in week 4. I am constantly seeking ways to use the people in my life as both inspirational and informational resources. I hope that these conversations continue in your own homes, and I hope that they're of use to you, of delight, amusement, whatever they may be. Today, my guest is SHIVAWN, and she runs the Creative Outsiders, which has been around since about 2016. We have talked back and forth over the years, and I'm excited to have her on today. And if you're enjoying this video, especially, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share. Anything helps, everything helps. Let's keep talking. Welcome, SHIVAWN.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course, you're just floating above the clouds with the golden ribbon.
I am. I felt like a change of scenery was really good for today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm taking your cue and mixing in, even though we're doing this digitally, this is my digital detox inspo, my lake kindness.
Exactly.
It's so important to find, and that you've been so good about that over the years, and especially lately, this idea of
hmm
a digital detox. Do
hmm
you want to talk more about how you kind of like found ways to put that out there?
So I know it's definitely funny for somebody who does media, entertainment, screenwriting to be pushing digital detox. I even had somebody say, like, what does that mean? And it's just from the place of we are creatives, right? So whatever we create is coming from our heart.
Yes.
And we do a lot of consuming on social media. So it's usually not an exchange unless you're interacting with people you know. Like me and you will jump in each other's DMs and encourage. But for the most part, we're consuming and we're strolling.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we're taking in everybody's feelings,
Mhm.
like literally everyone's feelings, whether they're having a good day, bad day, upset, indifferent, whatever. And I just realized like you are checking in with so many other people's feelings more than your own.
Yeah.
Because if we're honest, we're on social media for hours. Is
Yes.
you'll go up there with the intention of being on social media for 30 minutes. And before you know it, you've been up there for 2 hours and you lost track of time. You haven't created anything. So it's just from the perspective of I want us to be more producer minded versus consumer. So that means that we look at social media as a tool
Yes.
instead of it being like our source. It's just a tool.
Yeah, and you even go so far as to like put the literal like log off in your stories. Like if you're still looking at this, like please consider. And I feel you on that. It's especially tough. Different different times, like from
hmm
different disasters. Like I grew up near Houston. Like
hmm
different hurricanes, different like you look to social media for more than just content, right? Like sometimes
hmm
a truer look at media because we don't know always who to trust. And so people are just constantly like double checking, triple checking. In my hopes, I always seek curiosity in looking at media.
Right.
In my hopes, I look to people like yourself that provide resource or food for thought. And I feel like right
hmm
now is such a dangerous time where people
Yes.
are, you know, being performative in their allyship, for instance. They are
Yeah.
adding to a sense of dread. They are
Right.
spreading misinformation. And,
Right.
you know, how do you, really break it down and go, what's needed? And you place resources every day. Like, how do you break it down?
So for me, most people don't know my undergrad is actually in counseling. So as much as I'm a creative, like the counselor hat is automatically on.
Yeah.
So I actually created because I got tired of like fussing on the internet. I created like this short 5-day class. And what it does is out one thing I can give away is just our need to hop on first thing in the morning
Yeah.
or right before we go to bed. Because like, yes, I definitely love the inspiration part because I've met so many like amazing people who are filmmakers that I never would have met. But it's just like retraining our mind to need to know what everybody else is doing before we check on ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like taking that role of us always ignoring like our need for everybody else. I think the saying that most people say is like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
And that's what social media will do to you if you allow it. Because I don't want people to think like I'm anti like social media because I'm not. I met one of my closest friends on social media, like we're best friends. Um, so it's just like taking that power away where it is like intoxicating, it's draining, but we ignore our feelings because you can see people you follow and you can think, hey, they're draining.
Yeah.
Like, why are they like, why am I following them? But you keep following them.
Yeah.
So it's like instead of like paying attention to how you feel and rejecting it, I want you to like actually take hold to your thoughts and say, let me actually pursue why I feel this way. Or even like the thing that people don't talk about that are creatives, being jealous of other people on social media and still following them. It's like, let go of that. You don't have to follow them. You can choose to follow somebody else. So it's just taking that authority away and giving you like that power to actually be a critical thinker and make decisions that are good for you, not for everybody else.
Yeah. And you actually popped in my inbox today, as usual, with a great little newsletter, and you put so Shimon always sends these great newsletters through the Creative Outsiders, and they
Mhm.
compile everything you can think of, whatever you're currently promoting or ideas that you think people should read, podcasts, music, even. And today you also put, which I'll link everything that I can think of in the description as
Okay.
always, but the mental wellness ebook that you put. And just like
Oh,
this
yeah.
idea of escaping for 64 seconds is just like,
Yeah.
it is with me so much because I think that we all have to really listen to our voices and the roles that we want to continue and not
Hmm.
just allow ourselves to be put in that social media vacuum.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
It can be a powerful place. It can be a place to network. I mean, I met you because when
Exactly.
I was starting my own women in film journey. I did not
Hmm.
have any allies in the typical places that I thought I would find, and I was
Right.
really fortunate to see your profile make such not in just an importance on women in film, but just diverse voices in film because
Yeah.
visibility inspires others to make themselves visible to create spaces for them.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think and that's how I got started. I went to film school. I was I guess in film world a late bloomer
Yeah.
because I decided to go back at like the age of I think at that time I was in my mid 30s maybe.
Yeah.
Um and just not feeling like I was a part, feeling like I was behind the curve. And I just remember making a promise to myself in that moment of feeling like I wasn't a part that I would show people that like look like me that it's possible.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're just not given permission to dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you are given the permission to be a token or a side note or exploited for what they believe your minority experience is.
Absolutely.
That is something that you know we've talked about. It is something that like we need. If you want those stories told, there are people ready with those stories. All you need to do
Hmm.
is look for them. And if you
Just look.
want, you can go on the Creative Outsiders website, and you have actually compiled a spreadsheet of
Hmm.
filmmakers. You're like
Hmm.
emails, websites, union, non-union, whatever. It's there. You know,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. I just think too that we have to be okay with not feeling like we have to compete,
yeah,
because it's very easy in this like space
yeah,
to feel like you have to compete because there isn't like a lot of spaces for us. So it's like I'm gonna compete instead of like collaborating with you.
yeah, yeah, and finding like it is a frustrating thing because I think that I am a woman. I am a minority.
Hmm.
in the little checkbox of my census.
Mhm.
But I do experience privilege as someone who's light skinned, as someone who
Mhm.
identifies looking as white to most people. I
Mhm.
did grow up as, you know, my parents are both immigrants, and they both experienced a lot of the civil discourse that we're going through in this country now. And
Mhm.
I still feel it is my duty to uplift other voices,
Mhm.
but it always feels difficult because I, like many women, feel this need to be sincere, have integrity, do it from a
Yeah.
good place. Don't do it from this place of like charity. Don't do it from this
Yeah.
place of like condescension. And
Right.
and I think that from my friendship with you over the years, I've just come
Mhm.
to the conclusion that it is important to just keep putting in the work, keep talking, keep supporting, right? Like don't just wait.
Keep putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing too. So many people, like jump in my email or inbox and are like, "Oh, I don't know where to start." And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's like, just start.
Yeah. Just
Just
just start.
start.
Yeah. And just look it up. I mean,
Mhm.
there are other black activists besides Martin Luther King.
There are others.
There are others, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And there
There
is
are
more
others.
to his story than the clean story that we all have been taught
Yeah.
in our schools. I think it is important to stay curious, especially if you want to be an ally. Stay curious, look it up. Who does it benefit to share this or that? You know?
Right. Yeah. I definitely think that is, a good thing. Stay curious and then like do your research
Yeah,
because that's the other thing, I have to even catch myself. Like if I'm sharing this, I'm like, do I know if this is true?
yeah,
Um, do I know, like, especially when it comes to like donating to causes, like I try to do my due diligence
yeah,
before I put it out there because you know, I don't want to make an error. I don't want to send people in the wrong direction.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy how many scam versions of Minnesota Freedom Fund there are right now.
I
I
know. And
cannot,
it's so sad.
and I feel such a and again, like I'm saying this, I'm saying I feel and all this stuff, and it is such a weird thing because I'm here, we're talking, but what I'm seeing a lot these days that is hitting me is this idea of like centering a narrative instead of pressing a narrative, right? Like making
Mhm.
it about my feelings. Like my feelings are
Mm.
so damn complicated. They're all over the place. I went to college in Minneapolis. Like I have so many feelings about it, but it's not about me right now, right? So I have
Mhm.
to think, what can I put outward? What can I do to be
Mhm.
of service? How can I use the only skill I have, which is like a platform and a conversation? And
Mhm.
it just so happened that our conversation just landed smack dab
It
in the middle of this
did.
reading
It
because
did.
'cause you've been busy pressing this other initiative that I think people should know about, which is Be
Mhm.
the Good News. Do you wanna talk about
Yes. So it's so funny. We've been working on this literally like without people knowing for about 2 months.
that? Mhm.
Like just trying to frame it and make sure that we're just doing a good job of like making sure our team is ready.
Yeah.
So it came about because I I like the news, but I don't love the news, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, because I know that the agenda is to push fear. And when people are fearful, like they don't have hope,
Yes.
um, when they don't have hope, they don't make the best decisions. They make it from a place of like lack.
Yes.
And so for me, it was I wanted to tell stories of what people were doing in their community to like just help and to show up. And why was really important more so like I wanted to tell the good news,
Mhm.
but also to reaffirm the importance of community
Yeah.
because it's just easy to go through life, not know your neighbors, not know, just not get invested in your community.
Yeah.
And it is, we need that. Like, even now, we need it more than ever to
Yeah.
be able to know, like, I can go to the person next door and
Mhm.
we can have a conversation. So it's just really to put out what people are doing in the world that's good, and to encourage people to share more good news because we need it, even if it's for 64 seconds.
Exactly. And I think that yeah, you have like all the work of that initiative in your all your media, social media,
Hmm.
and how people can get involved and be
Yes.
good news themselves. And
Yes.
you're right. I mean, involving yourself in your community, looking around. I've definitely been doing that because I can't leave. I'm stuck in this little apartment, and I'm
Right.
really thinking about who my neighbors are. If there's
Yeah.
packages downstairs, I bring them up. Like it's like there's little things you can do.
Yes.
And then there's big things that look like little things that should be
Yeah.
shared because I think it's contagious, isn't it? When people do things.
Yeah. And absolutely, because it compels you.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like, if I see somebody who is like, if I saw you pick up a package, as
yeah,
small as that may seem, when I come back in, I'm going to pick up somebody else's package and I'm going to put it by their door. So it's that ripple effect.
yeah,
Like, we want to create this ripple effect of people just showing up, doing good, and like encouraging their community. And then the people that like follow you to do the same thing.
yeah.
So, that's just really that, and then I just want, even if it's a glimmer of hope, I wanna be able to give it.
Yeah. And you're right. I think when people come from a place that is so bogged down, that is so negative, when they don't take the
Mhm.
time for themselves, when they don't try to do good, it makes them lash out in ways that are completely against what is actually useful, helpful, and moving anything forward. Like no matter what
Absolutely.
side you're on politically right now, putting out like negative energy, just looking at violent videos all day and focusing in on that is destructive on a whole other level,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you're not saying just to disassociate or numb and watch
Oh,
videos
no, no,
of
no,
loving.
no.
You're saying
Yeah,
active, you're saying your love is active.
yeah, definitely, because I am, like, a believer in being informed, also, like, not negating what's going on socially because Imma be vocal about it, like, I'm a brown girl. I have a black dad, a black brother, black nephews. So I am going to speak out against it. And that was even in the newsletter. I put that was a struggle
Yeah,
to still say like I'm going to put out good news when like on last week I was crying.
yeah,
Um so it's not to take away or negate it. It's just to give you a moment to breathe because we need it.
yeah. And like we were talking last week, Toni Morrison's words are so important right now, right? Like there are moments to feel and there are moments to grieve, but if you want
Hmm.
to step into your duty, like this is not the time to self pity, to lower your worth. Like consider it and like put it out, and like
Hmm.
this is the time to get to work. And
Hmm.
just because you're at work does not mean you're not hurting inside. It just means
Hmm.
that you're finding ways to
To
not
show up.
yeah, to show up. To show up. I mean, it's so damn important. It's so damn important, and showing up, you can do it in all sorts of ways. It can be, calling your representatives if you live in
Hmm.
one of the states that is having an election. I mean, this video is going up on Wednesday, but we're filming today on Tuesday. But there are things you can control. Focus on
Absolutely.
those. Focus on those, and when that gets to be too much, digital detox.
Yeah, take a break, take a breather.
Yeah,
Um, and I think too, we sometimes, I feel like this is me giving you permission to take a breather
yeah,
because I think we can feel guilty by just saying, like, I need to take a break. And it doesn't mean quit, it doesn't mean
yeah,
give up, it just means regroup
yeah.
and then go out and do your part. And like you said, we all have a different role. So don't get upset at somebody who's doing their part and it looks different from you.
Yeah, and on one hand, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but sometimes you need to really take a humane look and go. Everyone is dealing with massive amounts of trauma, different
Yes.
types of trauma, different levels of
Yes.
trauma, and some
Mhm.
people have matured in their ability to bounce back. They have
Mhm.
rougher resilience. And
Hmm.
others are children. They are
Yeah.
children about it. And some people require you have to be hands-on and you have to help teach them that empathy, right?
Yeah.
Others, you have to step back and maybe in your absence, they will learn that empathy. So
Hmm.
I try to assess that. I get frustrated with people who
Hmm.
only post to social media when they think it's the time, but
Right.
it's also their response. I can't, I don't hate anyone that genuinely has come to the conclusion that everyone exists and deserves to live.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, on that note, I wanted to ask you a question that I
Okay.
ask all my guests.
Okay.
What message would you like me to tell the universe today on your behalf?
Oh, I don't. I would. I would one like to reframe it,
Yeah, okay.
where it's like directly speaking to the people who occupy the
All right.
world and the universe.
Okay,
Um,
got you.
I think I would like to say, let me think, let me think, let me think. Oh,
Heather.
I would like to say that your voice matters way more than you believe it does. Um, that often we look for a really big audience of hundreds of thousands of people. But even if you have one person who's paying attention to what you're saying, you have an audience. And you have the responsibility to replicate, like communicate what you want given back to you. So if you want to be treated right, then that's what you should be saying with your voice. If you want other people to be considered, that's what you should be saying. So don't minimize the power of your voice.
That is absolutely perfect. And thank you so much for talking with me today and always being open and reminding me when I need to close because I need that. I had to close last night and I looked at my husband and I said, Siobhan, put the log off on. Let's watch Jaws 2. The shark is still here. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you're
You're
always
welcome.
doing in every time. And everyone, please check out her work with the Creative Outsiders. Follow her and the Creative Outsiders on social media. You will be doing yourself a great service. And be the good news. Be the good news.
Yes. Be
Yes.
the good news.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. Your voice matters more than you believe it does. Don't minimize the power of your voice.